our virtual world. This is Mr. Jeter. A lot of y'all had problems with the production possibility sheet. So I'm gonna go ahead and go over those answers real quick. Make sure we're all on the same sheet of music going into our test for next week. Hopefully you can hear me with my mask on, because that's how we flow here. I can see better. All right, the very first question. Let's see this here, right? The question was asked, the opportunity cost. Opportunity cost of increasing the production of goods from good A from 0 to 1 unit is a loss of how much of unit B? Okay, so we're going from 0 to 1, so we're going up on good A, but we follow the 1 line up and over, we went down 12 to 1. 12 minus 11 is what? 1. Okay, so that would be 1 unit of good B. 1 unit of good B. Because we went over here, so we went up on A and we went down on B, 12 to 11, 1. The second one, what's the opportunity cost of increasing production of goods going from 1 to 2? Okay, again, we're going up with good A, but you follow the 1, it's 11, 2 is 8, 11 minus 8 is 3. So that's 3 units of good B. Again, you're subtracting. As you go up on one, you're going down on the other one. Number 3, what's the opportunity cost of good A if you go from 2 to 3 units? Okay. What's the opportunity cost of good B? Again, you're going up 2 to 3, so you're not losing anything from good A. OC good of A, I went from 2 to 3 units. Remember, the max of this would be 0. We followed the 8 line right, but went the wrong direction. Okay, so that would be 8 of good B would be the opportunity cost. 8 of good B. So it's 1, 3, and 8. To verify that, we did our production schedule. Okay, that's a good way to always check your answers, by the way. Do a production schedule. And from 2 to 3, 3 units is the same as 0 to 8. So there's a total of 8 of B. Okay. Thanks to one of my favorite students for bringing that to my attention. Okay. And I'll make the necessary corrections. Okay. That's the first side of the sheet. Turn it over, you had to make a production possibilities curve. Okay. Let's just shift this baby over here just a little bit. And boom. You had to identify how many bats and how many 2x4s you need. The instruction says one tree produces 10 baseball bats, or one tree produces 20 2x4s. Okay, but now look what it says. You get 5 trees. You get 5 trees, you got to do a little math here. 5 times 10 is 50. So that's 50 baseball bats. That's the max I can do with my resources. Or 5 times 20, 2x4s, it's 100. We're doing 100 2x4s. Again, that's the max I can do with my resources. Now, we don't have, we're not doing deep math here. We're just going to connect the dots. Okay? That's our production possibility. We can either do 50 bats, 100 2x4s, or this line means a combination of both. Next, the instruction says, mark any 2 points, plot any 2 points on the curve and label them A and B. Too easy. I like to go in the middle. This is about 25. Half of 100 is a 50. Half of 100 is 50. Half of 50 is 25. So let's meet right here. Let's call this our point A, which is 25 and 50. Okay. And I like halves again. What's half of between 50 and 75? I mean, 50 and 100 is what, 75, right? Half of 25 is What's half of 25? Like 15? I feel like 15. I mean, this ain't rocket science. We ain't gotta get deep. Boom. So now we got our 2 points on our graph. And they're all efficiency because it's on the graph. Now the question is asking, describe the opportunity costs. What do you have to give up when you're moving from point A to point B? Okay. If you see, if you're going from A to B, okay, you're increasing in 2x4s, but you're going down on bats. Okay. If you go from B to A, you're increasing on bats, but you're decreasing on 2x4s. Okay. So that is the law of scarcity. Okay. That's the law of production possibilities. When you go up on one, you go down on the other. Okay. And that's just what the questions are asking you. How does this frontier illustrate the principle of increasing opportunity costs? When you go up on one, you go down the other. You can't do 50 and 100. Okay. Number 6, what would cause the frontier curve to shift outward? Any increase in technology, any kind of increase in your resources will allow it to shift outward. You'll be able to do more. Okay. Remember, as long as it's on this curve, you're being efficient. Outside, you'll be inefficient. Inside, you're being you're being inefficient if you're inside. Outside is unobtainable, and on the curve, you're being efficient. Remember, if you're being inefficient, that's called being fired, right? Yes. Oh, what would cause this frontier curve to shift outward? I said technology. What would cause it to shift inward? The opposite. Whatever you were using to make these bats in 2x4, let's say some kind of machine, it goes down on you. You still got to produce, but you won't be able to produce as much. So now you will shift inward. When you shift inward, this line would go in. Remember we talked about how that shift would look? The original curve is this, let's say A1. You shift inward or outward. The second curve would be A2, and you would have an arrow. That's shifting inward. This would shift outward. Let's say this A3. Okay. Good stuff there. All right, 8. Let's shift this over. Let's look at 8. Here's some questions. You got capital goods and you got consumer goods. Suppose massive new resources of oil and coal are found within the company, and there are major technological innovations on both sectors of consumer and capital goods. Which curve in the diagram would represent the new production possibility curve? Okay, it says that BB is the current frontier curve. So you're currently at BB. Now you got technology in both sectors of goods and consumer goods. So that would shift this thing outward. That would be represented by what? Which of these points is shifting outward on both ends? It would be C and C, because the whole thing going outward. That would be C and C. This is the original curve. Again, it's shifting outward because of resources and technology. It'd be CC. Right. Next question. Suppose that a new government comes to power that forbids the use of automated machinery and modern production techniques in all industries. Again, it's going to affect both consumer goods and capital goods. Which curve in the diagram will represent the new production possibility? Again, it will shift inward, right? That would be A to A. Why A to A? Because technology has been decreased for you. So consumer goods is going to go in, capital goods is going to go in. It's not going to start up here. It's going to start less. A to A. Next question. Suppose there's a major technological breakthrough in only the consumer goods industry, this is one right here, and the new technology is widely adapted. Which curve in the diagram will represent the new production? Okay. For this one, capital goods is not being increased, but consumer goods. So we're going to start off with the B and then go out to D. Because consumer goods got the technology, right? Now you may ask, why didn't the whole thing shift? Because it didn't affect capital goods, but it did affect the consumer goods. Okay. So B, D. If BB represents the country's current production possibilities frontier, what can you say about a point like X? X, again, anything on this line is obtainable. Anything outside this line is unobtainable. So this is outside this line. Under my current resources, I can't do it, so it's unobtainable. If BB represents the country's current production possibilities frontier, what can you say about a point at like Y? Okay, if BB is what I can do, this is unobtainable. This is under what I'm able to do. Now I'm being inefficient. Okay, inefficient because I can do better. So the answer is inefficient. Okay, so these are the answers to your worksheet. You have questions, make sure you email me. The test next week will be on vocabulary and being able to find scarcity, being able to read the production possibilities curve. Okay, I will try to zoom in during the different class periods to entertain any questions that you might have. If not, just send them by email to me. Okay, this is Mr. Jeter signing out. I just did the worksheet for you guys and gals.